All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first comedy review episode of Laser Brains. This is Laser Brains. I'm your co-host, Mike Allen. As always, I'm joined by
Joshua Mervell. And yeah, we're going to be talking about Fletch today, which is exciting. You've been talking about this movie for quite some time now.
Hyping it up.
Yeah.
And it was actually the pick of a certain champion.
Yes, a certain champion.
Yes,
this
yes.
particular one.
There's
As a
many
matter of
champions,
fact,
yes.
Yes, Fletch is one of my favorite films as well.
It's one of my favorite films, absolutely. And one of the things we do on this podcast is we talk in chronological order about our experience with this film.
Yes.
So, Josh, you're going to be last, unfortunately.
That's fine, yeah.
But we're going to talk about me and Ian. Ian, it's
Yeah.
your pick. Tell us about your experience with Fletch.
Fletch is one of those movies that has always existed for me.
Sure.
I don't remember the first time that I saw it.
Okay.
I don't remember how many times that I've seen it. It's one of those Channel 22 First Choice Movie Network films that I saw as a kid and happened to record it, probably because I knew who Chevy Chase was, and that's it. I was just the entire time, and I probably watched it 50 times a year.
Wow.
For a few years, like when I was, when you're a kid and you just get obsessed with a movie,
of course,
and you watch it over and over and over again. There were a few movies that did that for me. Fletch was one. Pee-wee's Big Adventure was another. Star Trek 2 was the third. Those were sort of like the trifecta of movies for me when I was little.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So for me, National Lampoon's Vacation was my favorite comedy as a kid. Okay. And I watched it so many times, it got to the point where me and my friends had it memorized. We could, when we used to play road hockey together, we would just recite the movie as we were playing because we knew it so well. And I will go on the record, right now it's 2025. One day, I think Chevy Chase will be recognized in the same category as Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd and Peter Sellers, the masters of comedy. I think Chevy Chase he's my favorite comedian of all time. National Lampoon's Vacation is my favorite comedy of all time, but Fletch is his second best movie, I think. And the interesting thing about the movie is that they didn't intend to make it a comedy. They were just adapting a novel. And on day one of shooting, in that scene, when the guy asks him, "What's your name?" By the way, he's like, "Nugent, Ted Nugent." The director's like, "Okay, I guess we're gonna go do
This is where we're going.
This is where we're going." You know, he just
But it's interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well, let's,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's
But
finish our
hear,
chronological
Josh, what's your
discovery
experience
first.
with Fletch?
So I've only ever heard of this movie.
Because we won't shut up about it?
Right. Yeah, pretty much. And so this is my first time watching it. So I don't have much experience with this in my life.
Okay. What's your experience with Chevy Chase?
So I think the first thing I saw him in was Vacation.
Okay.
And then after that, it was probably Three Amigos.
Oh,
and
I love Three Amigos.
And then I was a really big fan of Community.
Okay.
So I know
Which
him
I've
from...
always seen clips from.
Yeah, so I know him from that.
Wasn't he the reason that show
partially, and then like partway through they kill him off because they just were like, "Yeah, we're firing you. You're not coming back." So yeah, so I know him from that, and I'm sure I've seen clips of him on SNL.
You're selling him short, Josh. You're selling him short. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
You didn't
That's what I
mention the
know.
Chevy Chase show, which was
Notoriously the worst talk show ever created.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
That destroyed his career. Yeah, it destroyed his career. So he was, I mean, we weren't going to talk about Chevy Chase, but he was technically the first breakout star of SNL, Saturday Night Live. Okay. He did the first season of SNL. He was the first news, what's it called? Weekend Update host. He left the show to do films. He ended up doing like a bunch of films that I kind of forget, like Caddyshack, and then he did Vacation, became huge. Then he did like Fletch, 85, Funny Farm. What else? Help me out. Do you remember, Ian?
I'm drawing a bit of
Three
a blank.
Amigos, like. And then he was huge. And then he did his talk show and it bombed badly. And
it
then,
lasted maybe 8 episodes, I think.
It was like very brief. And then he became a punching bag for the press, for the media. And on top of the fact that he was also a big asshole in real life.
Right.
Like, because I think he got a huge ego because he became so big so fast. He became a big asshole, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I know about him is that he's an asshole and kind of racist and, you know, like not really a good guy.
But besides that,
it sounds great.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't think I loved this movie.
Okay. So
That was Laser Brains, everyone.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, Ian, I want to hear your first. Okay, we'll get to Josh later.
That's not Josh.
Yeah.
Anyways, Ian.
No. But okay, Ian, I want you to tell us first. Why did you watch this movie 50 times a year when you were a kid?
To prepare myself for this moment.
Yeah,
So we could
ready.
rake Josh over the coals.
Yes.
You know, I don't know exactly why. I think going back to what we were talking about just a minute ago about how this wasn't initially supposed to be a comedy. I think that sets it apart for me and always has in terms of how it relates to other comedies. You're laughing at the funny parts, but you're also kind of locked in to the story because it's got a great story.
I agree.
And you don't, and since I was a kid, it helps that you don't need to really understand what's happening to get the jokes either. So
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Multi-layered
It works on
in that
two
sense.
levels, yeah.
That and all the jokes are fairly simple. They're just sort of throwaway one-liners. They're all hilarious. Mm-hmm. Every one of them works. And as I got older, I started to appreciate more and more and more about the movie in terms of story, and it's scary at times.
That's a great point. So I think the key, and this goes back to the template for all these films, which is of course Ghostbusters, the greatest comedy ever made. But Fletch there's our woo. So Fletch is great because the story, it's based on a novel. The story is solid. Like the story's a neo-noir.
Yeah, I think it's the thing that I like most about this movie is the plot.
Right.
The mystery is pretty good.
Wait, I'm going to talk first, Josh.
Okay.
I'm going to build it up and you're going to tear it down.
Okay,
that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So I'll just say quick. The story's good. The story has echoes of like other film noirs, including Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. If you were to take all the comedy out, you would actually be enraptured by like what is happening. The fact that the beach stuff ties in with what's going on with this other guy, right? It's all nice the way it all ties together. And like you said, Ian, there's actually a moment where he comes close to death.
Joe Don Baker is low-key terrifying in this movie.
And it also shows Chevy Chase how good an actor he is in that scene, right?
Because he looks scared.
He looks very scared. And you're enthralled throughout the whole thing until the climax, and it all ties up together. But on top of that, the fact that Chevy Chase is the protagonist and he's playing Fletch just makes it beautiful because all of his one-liners that you mentioned, like the story would be the same without those one-liners, but like when he's at the doctor and he's getting the rectal exam, and when he's in the hospital and he's helping the guy operate and he wakes up and the nurse is there, it's just every step of the way he's just, quipping his way through the whole plot, but the plot itself is still great.
Yeah, and he's also fumbling his way through it too.
Yes.
Like he's making missteps left and right that he has to correct from. And it's a little ridiculous that nobody ever really calls him out on any of this stuff.
Right.
Which makes it even funnier, right?
Right.
Like I'm thinking about the scene where he's talking to the other airplane mechanics, and he's talking right out of his ass, and they don't get it.
Sure.
They're written as being a little dumb, which kind of helps that too.
One of the guys is smart. One of the guys I think is onto him. The other guy's not.
Yeah,
but I know what you're saying though. Yeah.
Like
it's convenient for him, but at the same time, it's tense the whole time it's happening, right? So here's the thing. I got one scene I don't like. I'm going to wait for later, but Josh, now I want to hear, why did you not love this movie?
I definitely did not hate this movie. I just think that I would for me, it wasn't hilarious. I think that most of the jokes for me were kind of like, yeah. Like, I don't know. I wasn't like,
for me, they were like
laughing at boisterous guffaws.
Guffaws.
I wasn't like full on like laughing out loud at any moment. I think that Chevy Chase is really good at improv, and I think that a lot of the stuff he does is clever. I just don't think that it's like laugh out loud funny for most of this movie for me. And I feel like maybe it's because he is playing the straight man and the like goofy character at the same time.
It's an interesting point.
So I feel like when he's like quipping, there's nobody to play off of it. So he's kind of just stumbling through every scene, right? Like the character. And for me, I think a lot of the tense moments aren't very tense.
Oh, well, they are
because
for me, but
I think maybe besides the one scene where he's in the jail cell, I think every other scene is just like, yeah, he's just gonna bumble his way through. So by the time we get to the airplane scene, I'm like, I'm over being tense. Like, just give me something funny to laugh at, because I know everything's going to be fine. And we're going to he's going to say a joke and we're going to cut to the next scene. Like, we're not even going to see him really get out of the circumstance.
That's interesting you should say that,
he's
because
put himself in.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
There. But it's interesting you say that, because there's one thing I'll say is that his persona in Vacation, you've seen Vacation, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because that's the Chevy Chase I know, but even he said, and the critics have said, he wasn't that guy before Vacation. He was known as the smartass, and then in Vacation, he's the bumbling, father figure, but he wasn't that before.
But that overly confident bumbling.
Yeah. But in this movie, he's different because, if you know, I love the moment where the bad guy takes him into his house in the second scene or whatever, and then he says what are you, high right now or something, or what are you tripping right now? And he goes, watch it, ass face, I don't work for you yet. That was a moment of genuine, hey, fuck you. He wasn't joking around, he was dead serious, fuck you. And so I'll say that there's an interesting contrast between it's Chevy Chase being funny, but he's also serious, and he owes his wife alimony, and he's scared of the cops, and he's scared of the whoever. So there's a weird dynamic there. But I think for me it works because it's it's all for us. The people he's talking to don't think he's funny. When the guy says, "What's your name?" and he goes, "Nugent, Ted Nugent." The guy doesn't laugh. The guy doesn't know he's funny. We know he's funny. But I think it's it's a different style of comedy than Vacation. But for me, it works every step of the way, I think. What do you think, Ian?
It's more subtle, and it's subtle in the universe of the film.
Sure.
And it's all for a reason, too. He has to play these characters in order to sew himself into these little societies in order to get the information that he needs.
Right.
So it's all for a pragmatic purpose as well. And the fact that he doesn't know who these people are, the fact that he doesn't know the questions to ask, that's why he's bumbling around. He doesn't know what to do at this point. Right. So he's got to figure this out as he goes. And he's getting it wrong a lot.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is the thing I'll say, Josh, is okay, the scene where he's trying to fix the airplane is probably the most over the top with the big teeth, but it's one of the funniest. But I think the scene where he goes to talk to the mom and dad,
yeah, it's good.
Is good because those two actors are they don't even know what movie they're in. They're so good. They're so genuine.
Yeah.
When Chevy Chase is so do you have any pictures of the missus? And the wife is like, oh, I got a whole book. And she goes out, and every answer they give is genuine. And it's not like they're hamming it up to the camera. They're very seriously proud of their son. They're happy about the marriage. Any parent, if they're showing pictures of the kids, oh, look at all these pictures we got at this wedding. And it's kind of an undercurrent of sadness because that it's revealing that this guy is a polygamist, right? And this other woman that we know as the wife is being played. So I think it worked. For me, that scene works perfectly because he's a complete goofball with the straw sticking to his face and he can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's I think what Ian, the cool thing is he's using his wit to get information. So it actually is serving the plot because he is navigating this craziness through his wit and his comedy, which is only for us, but it's actually serving a purpose in the movie. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
And that's a great example, but pretty much every exchange that he has is along those same lines.
Right.
Everybody else is playing it straight. Everybody else is taking him seriously, even when you shouldn't, because he's just being ridiculous.
I think maybe the girl is the only one that realizes, there's a couple times where she actually laughs.
Yeah.
So she recognizes, okay, you're just being funny. Everyone else just completely blank. They just don't get it, right?
But that makes sense in the context of the film as well.
Right.
Because the scene that I'm thinking of where she's kind of laughing around is when he comes to the cabana and he doesn't remember the name that he used the first time. Right. And she's like, John Cocktoaston?
Yeah, exactly.
And she lets him in. And then a moment later, he's like, why'd you let me in? And she's like, well, I'm bored.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter to her that she knows that he's putting on this front because she's like, well, at least somebody's paying attention to me.
So on top of all this, okay, let's take out all the humor. The actual plot is clever.
Yeah.
And we don't want to spoil it. If you haven't seen Fletch yet, go and watch it right now. But we're going to get to spoilers right now. But the plot is pretty clever, right? Like,
yeah.
Because that bad guy is very sincerely, like, sinister and slimy, right? Mm-hmm. And then his plot, like, you're watching it like, oh, okay, this is, I believe him. And then as the movie goes on, okay, something's not up. And then it gets to the end and everything makes sense, right? Everything ties together, right? So I think it's a good plot. What do you think?
I think that the mystery is really good. And I do love the setup of the main bad guy kind of like picking him up off of the beach.
Yes,
and that
smart.
setup is great.
Yep.
And then even the introduction of like the dirty cop and the police chief, that's really fun. I think what's missing too for me though is that like I wish I had a little bit more of them or more of like him sneaking around them or something, because I kind of like the setup is great, but then it's just kind of Fletch stumbling through these little skits essentially through to the end, and in each one he's getting like a small little piece of this puzzle. And I feel like we're not getting like real conflict with the plot. That's like, I don't know.
I feel like, because I've seen this 1,000 times, just like Ian, but like I feel like all the characters, like George Wen's character, then the black dude on the beach, those are all real. They feel very real to me. Like
right.
They have real.
But where do we see that guy before? Like he just shows up. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just I don't think it.
I feel it. I feel his plight though. I feel his plight. Like I don't need more than I got. I don't know. I think the only character that did nothing for me was Gina Davis's character. Other than that,
which sucks because yeah,
but even like the boss was good. Like the boss, again, the boss is funny, but everything he says is logical, and everything he says you believe it. Like when he's like, "No, Fletch, I don't believe you." You know, like get your story done by tomorrow at noon or whatever he says. It's not like a parody. It's not like an over the top. It's like, no, this is like.
He's funny because he's so fucking stressed out.
Right.
He's losing his mind because of what we know is happening, but we know that he doesn't know.
Yes.
So it's funny for us.
Right. And then like, remember the guy, like the guy who's watching the house with the shotgun in the house? Obviously an over the top character, but he's not, he's actually threatening. Mm-hmm. Like he's scary because he has a gun, but he's also scary because he's so stupid. And he actually does shoot Fletch's window out.
Sure, yeah.
So like the moments in the movie where he's in danger, there's him in the jail, there's him getting shot, there's him on the beach when the cop punches him.
The dog that tries to bite him.
The dog, that's 4. There's a lot of times where he's in genuine danger.
I guess, but also too the way he gets out of it is he says your shoes untied and kicks him in the balls. Like it's not
okay, Josh.
It's not
take
like,
it easy.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I get what you're saying. He's got a shotgun pointed at him, so that's dangerous. But also, like, it doesn't feel like real danger in that moment when that's the way he gets out of it. It's just
when he was in the jail cell, he was pointing the gun. That was scary. That was genuinely
that feels it.
And Chevy Chase was like, "You're serious?" Like, and I was like worried, even though I've seen it 1,000 times. I was like, "Oh no, is he actually going to shoot him?" That's how I felt.
Why did he let him go?
Because Chevy Chase said,
"Oh, okay, I won't do the story anymore."
That's why.
It?
No, that's it.
This is like the most crooked.
No, but the whole point was that the guy was like, "Don't publish the story. Don't publish the story." He points a gun at him because remember Chevy Chase was going to give in, or sorry, Fletch was going to give in, and then he's like, "Well, fuck you," and then he's like, "Okay, well now I'm going to throw you in a jail cell." Points a gun at him, and then Fletch is like, "Okay, fine, I won't publish it," and then he's just like, "Okay," puts the gun down, and remember that moment where he's like, "Come on, come on," he puts his arm around him like. It's like freaky because he was going to kill him, but he's like, "Okay, you're not going to publish a story. Fine, go ahead then." And that's it. Like, I think it's very clear exactly why he let him go. Because he's not going to publish a story.
He's been, in the eyes of Chief Carlin, been sufficiently intimidated.
Yeah, and this is something that goes on all the time. I'm sure it happens in Windsor every day. But anyway, I don't know. I had no issue with that scene at all. No issue. I thought it was great. But Josh did have an issue.
No, I do think that was the scene that was the most intimidating and felt
Right.
like he was in actual danger.
I'm going to agree with you to a degree, though, in that he does sort of just find himself escaping these situations. The one scene that sort of irritates me a little bit is when he's escaping the dog, and the dog is jumping on his car, and he just says, "Oh, look, defenseless babies." And the dog goes, "What?" Like in a human voice?
Okay, that was a little over the top. But my counterpoint is that actually didn't, quote, defeat the dog. It was him hitting the gas and then the dog
but
jumping over falling off
then
the
why
car.
have that?
But
Because
why-
Sure.
why
that joke
even-
didn't land for me, and it's one
Yeah.
of the few that didn't.
Okay, so it gets a 99 out of 100
I think
for
even
jokes.
him running away from the dog was whatever. Like he runs through into one room, closes the door behind him, and then he runs into another one. There's no like
genuinely scared.
there's no like slapstick in that moment of him like
actually,
trying to get away from the dog, doing all these different things.
That's
like,
the thing, is that's the one scene that was almost like there was no slapstick. It was weird. It was just like it was like a serious movie with like one or two jokes. It was a weird scene. Now that brings me to, I will admit, I remember I said there's one scene I don't like, and I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. It's the scene where he gets into the car with the kid with the braces. Because that was the one scene to me where it felt like the studio went, "You got to have a car chase. It's 1985. You got to have a car chase." Okay, fine. They could have so easily cut that out, because when he goes home to his apartment and the cops are there, they could have cut from him like trying to escape and then just going into that whatever that was, that veterans thing, which was kind of funny, I thought.
Yeah, I really like that scene.
But the chase scene itself was crap. Cut it out. Garbage. Cut it out.
You know what really sucked about that scene?
What?
I think was the music.
Yeah.
You don't need to put a music video in the
right.
middle of
That
your
is-
film unless you're James Gunn.
Yeah. You're right.
And it didn't fit. It was silly. I don't know. Maybe that was like a hot 80s banger that we don't know about.
Sure.
But no, that seemed as though that disrupted the flow
Totally
of the film.
But then once you got into the room, like, and I think we talked about this with our audience here, the tension of him and like oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then the cops are coming in, and then he's improvising again with, when he's like, "You want more coffee?" He takes their coffee, gives it back to them. Takes this guy's dirty plate, puts it on this guy's, right? And then when they announce the next person, he just stands up. Again, genuine anxiety, like, oh, what is he gonna do? And he just outsmarts his way out of it. I thought it was great. I love that scene. Josh, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay,
I
anyway.
liked it just fine. I don't think I had this like gut wrenching, like, oh no, how is he gonna escape this? I'm just like, what ridiculous thing is he gonna say?
See, it's funny because I've seen it so many times and I still feel the anxiety.
Interesting.
Ian, did you feel the anxiety of, is he or isn't he going to get out of this?
At certain points.
Okay.
At certain points. And I think I'm somewhere in between you and Josh on this. And it doesn't hamper my enjoyment of the movie in the
Right.
slightest. The Jordan Baker scenes really get me.
Yeah.
Really get me. That scene when he's in the hall, no, I'm not stressed out about it. Like maybe a little, right?
Yeah.
A little anxious, but not, because
Sure.
because And it's so over the top that you can't take it completely serious.
Sure.
I think too, in those scenes, we don't really see him, like in the jail cell scene,
Sure.
have this moment of like fear
Sure,
and doubt.
sure.
Like, what am I scared of in that scene?
Guns.
The cops, I
Cops
guess.
shooting.
I guess, like, none of them have a gun drawn. They're just slowly walking.
I know,
Like,
but that's
they
the-
take like a step, and then we cut, and he says a bunch of jokes, and then we cut back, and they take another
Well,
step. Like, there's no like
they're making their way in because there's a crowd.
Even when he's doing like the bit of like doing the plates or whatever, which is funny.
Yeah.
There's not like a beat where he's like by himself and he's thinking like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, I'm scared. Like,
He
it's
just seamlessly gets into.
yeah.
I think he's too smart for that.
I didn't hate it. I don't dislike it. It just wasn't the best for me.
It was.
I don't
So
know.
anyway, what was the best
I
thing?
think you're gonna convince
Josh,
him.
bring up your phone here. Let's look at the box office.
Sure.
Okay, what is the box office?
Sure.
$1985. What does that say there?
59 million.
59. Does anyone have a converter? Convert 59 million and $1985 to 2025. It's a lot.
I'm gonna estimate
Sure.
around 110, 120 million.
That's a pretty
So
big
it
box
made
office.
50 million.
Huh?
It made 50 million. Like the budget was 8 million.
Okay, so
it made about
Well, profit doesn't matter. Grossed 59. 59.
Box office is 59.
We'll call it 60. So it grossed 60, which we got someone in here. How much is that in 2025?
350 million.
Say it again.
350 million.
Wow.
Those are like Thunderbolts
That was
numbers.
way off.
That's
Jesus.
that's almost a Marvel movie. Okay, so that's huge. That's huge in 1985. So I think me and Ian are on the right page here of history. I think we're on the right side of history. Josh is on the wrong side of history.
Right.
History will remember, Josh.
Yes. So here's the thing. I got good news for you guys. Did you know this is only the first movie in the greatest trilogy ever made? Did you know that, Ian?
I heard that there may have been a third movie that was released recently.
And did you see it?
I have not
Holy
yet.
I've seen it twice. It is really good. Yes.
Yeah.
Josh, did you know there's 2 more to come?
You know what? It's funny actually. Fletch Lives is one of my favorite movies.
No.
Oh
shit! I actually believed you for a minute.
I was so close
He's
to
running from
getting
Chevy
up and
Chase.
walking away.
He tricked me.
No, never heard of it.
Okay.
Until you had mentioned that it existed. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Fletch Lives, not as good as Fletch. Not as good as Fletch, but we're still going to watch it. We're still going to review it.
Shot. Not by a long shot.
Confess Fletch, excellent. Different actor, though, and we're going to talk about that very soon. But it's okay because we're going to review all the good movies, all the good trilogies. Nothing's going to be better than Fletch, but you can still keep watching the show.
Before we end, do we want to like talk about our favorite jokes maybe?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Do we? Of course we do.
Because there are some really good bits or like weird quips. Like the one that made me laugh out loud, I think the most, was in that scene where he goes back to Utah, I think, right? Yeah. And he's sitting on the bench with the parents. He takes the one photo, like, can I borrow this, blah, blah, blah. She goes, oh yeah, I have so many. Do you want to see some more? I have so many. He goes, oh no, sorry, I'm trying to quit.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, I don't know why it caught me off.
Oh yeah, it's so
guard.
good. Yeah,
I really love that one.
Okay, Ian, what's yours?
I'd have to say it's when he's pretending to work for the Securities and Exchange Commission, and he goes to talk to Mr. Boyd, the wife's father.
Sure.
And his secretary's just like, coffee, Mr. Poon?
Yeah.
Just
okay.
He doesn't introduce himself as that. We just know that he had at some point, and she knows that his name is Mr. Poon.
Yes, I know, right?
And when he's leaving, he's like, "What kind of name is Poon?" It's just
I know.
Such a ridiculous name. Like, why would you pick that name after you've picked Igor Stravinsky and Ted Nugent and Harry S. Truman,
Don Corleone,
and Mr. Poon?
I know, right? Okay, so my favorite, the whole scene is one of the best in the movies, and that's when he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's giving him the rectal exam. And he's in the middle of Moon River, and he just breaks into song, and then he keeps trying to talk, and then he'll just like nudge and be like, "Using the whole fist there, doc," and then he'll keep going.
You ever do time?
Yeah, what's that?
You ever do time?
Yeah. And I love how during the whole time Chevy Chase is talking, the other guy is like not even in the shot. You can't even see him.
Yeah,
right?
He might not even be in the room.
Right in the room. Right. And I love the whole running gag of when he's trying to pretend that he knows him. He's like, oh yeah, I know him from the golf club. Oh yeah, which one? And then the guy's like, oh, I'm part of that. And you're like, oh fuck, now he's gonna be on to him, right? And everything he says is wrong. And then when he mentions the aunt or whatever, and Chevy Chase is like, oh, it was a guy. He's like, it was so sudden the way he went. He had cancer for 2 years. Well, it was sudden at the end. He was in intensive care for 8 weeks. No, but the very end, that was sudden. You know what I mean? Like, everything he says is wrong. And that scene is just beautiful. I love that fucking scene. I love it.
Although,
so that's it for me.
I heard you laugh the hardest at the scene when he was in the records room.
Oh.
And he got up and he saw the doctor, and he made that noise.
It's like a gargle, because you see the guy and you know he's there, and then Chevy Chase gets up, it's like, and he just starts fake gargling, but it's like, why would he do that? It's just, and then he's like, and then he looks up at the nurse and he says, could you get me a paper bag? I'm hyperventilating. Oh fuck. Anyway, so clearly I love Chevy Chase. I love this movie. It's one of his best roles. If you're looking for more Chevy Chase, watch Obviously, National Lampoon's Vacation, Funny Farm, Three Amigos. What do you think, Ian? Any other recommendations?
You've got mine. I mean,
Okay.
Vacation, Three Amigos are my two. I haven't seen Funny Farm.
Oh, wow. It's really good. We should watch it here. 100%.
Caddyshack, he's in Caddyshack too, but I'm not a big fan of Caddyshack.
No, I'm not a huge fan of that movie. His bits are funny, but he's not in it as much.
No.
But he is funny in it. Do you have any recommendations for Chevy Chase, Josh?
Community. I really like the show. Yeah.
Is he good in it? Is he funny?
He's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah. He has some funny bits,
Okay.
but it's really good. It's good.
There was a time when Chevy
show.
Chase could do no wrong in the 80s. He was on top of the world, I think.
It's not
Yeah.
that time anymore.
No,
but,
that time is long gone, unfortunately. But anyway, this podcast is on top of the world now. So be sure to join us every week for an episode of Laser Brains or Tape Crusaders. And be sure to come to movie night every week at Meteor. Coming up in 2 weeks, we have
Blade 2.
Blade 2. Blade
Yeah.
2. And then
Jaws for the
Jaws.
50th anniversary.
Yes, 50th
Very
anniversary of
exciting.
Jaws. That's right. Rock solid. Thank you, Champion, for always having us.
Anytime.
And movie
Thanks for
night.
always coming to see me.
That's right. That's right. And Josh, tell everybody where you can find our episodes.
You can find all of our stuff over on our website at comicbooksyndicate.com. You can also find all of our video format versions on our YouTube channel, so check us out there.
Until the next time, see you later.